I didn't know what to say or do. Somebody took a lie and made it come true.
All right, it's another week. Why are people playing games? It's Donovan Sadiq, and this is the Donovan Sadiq Show. And it is a new format, something that we're doing. We want you guys to tune in to the Pastor Don Show as well as the Hot Seat Radio Show. We were on the radio yesterday in front of the Starbucks on Fredericks, and it was a beautiful day. It's going to be another beautiful day today. I love it, and I want to thank my co-host here. Pastor Don has decided to join me and keep me within my parameters. Thank you, Pastor Don.
Well, it's nice to be able to be on this side so that I can be the one that quizzes you versus the other way around.
Yes, I hope I have all the answers that we're going to need. But very interesting. Pastor Don, did you see the videos of City Clown Luis Palomares?
You know, yes, I did, and actually, it was disturbing in regards to the antics. And I've been to many city council meetings, mostly in Paris because that's where my church is, and of course, there's those type of individuals, those type of outbursts. We have that in Paris and as well as in Moreno Valley. But, again, what it does is it takes away from what the purpose of what city council is all about. Mm-hmm. You get these people that want to, kind of, I want to say they're, 3 minutes of fame or the 3 minutes of getting their, their antics out. And what it does to me is it devalues of what's trying to go on in the city council. So, yeah, I saw it, didn't like it. Right. Wish it didn't have any of that.
Right. She's a Highland Fairview employee. She does get white envelopes from Highland Fairview. That's a fact. And like I told people before, the clown Luis Palomares is a bully because she isn't going to do that to you if there isn't security guards or policemen around you. If we were in public like right now and she sees us talking, she will walk right past us without saying one word. Well,
and again, that's very, very typical of that type of behavior. Of course, in public, they have this real strong, demeanor and strong, strong ways. But then you get them out in the streets type thing, and then they don't. But again, my only point to it is I don't know her, so I have no
I don't know her either.
I don't have no opinion whatsoever, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm demeaning her at all because I don't. But I just think that antic is not necessary.
Well, the video speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I don't think that that's necessary in a city council meeting.
Right. And she's a children's advocate and a city advocate. Can you believe that? The video speaks for itself. I mean, I don't know how you could deny what you saw with your own very eyes. So,
well, if you don't mind, Donovan, I kind of want to start this off. I know this is your show.
No,
I just want to ask you a couple questions here.
Sure.
I'm very interested. I'm going to tell you why. I think your audience knows. I'm extremely interested in this whole concept of the planning commission. Mostly because I'm involved with the golf course project and the high density the apartment project out there. Mm-hmm. The plans are beautiful. We've talked about it how this developer is trying to devise these plans that's going to be good for the neighborhood and also good for the community.
Right.
But without a quorum, he won't be able to get it through. So I am really interested in your take in regards to not only the ways that they're appointing these planning commissioners, but who you would think would be the most unbiased, the best qualified candidates to be part of that commission.
Well, I know you're not in the Moreno Valley politics as much as I am, but we do have a quorum now. There is a quorum in set.
Okay,
a quorum is 4.
Okay.
So he ended up appointing Brian Lowell and Baker.
And what is your opinion of that?
Well, Brian Lowell is a Highland Fairview employee, and of course, thanks to my and other people's efforts, we denied him that seat in District 3, because remember, he ran in District 3 and was like, oh, well, remember he tried to use the animal shelter as a ploy, like, look at what I'm doing for the animals, and I caught him in a lie. And, he's already served as a chairman and things like that, so I have no problem with him being on the commission. I think, it's sad that I'm not, to keep putting the same people up on these same commissions, you need to give, I think everybody in the community that wants to be on these commissions should be given an opportunity. You shouldn't be sitting there for 8 years, I mean, there should be a term limit, basically. You do 2 terms, get the hell off of there, let somebody else get a chance that wants to contribute to the community. But I don't think it's a bad thing. They have experience. I do question Brian Lowell's ethics because, again, anybody that takes money from Highland Fairview, how can you be unbiased to when his project comes across your board? I mean, a lot of people might not agree with me and think, well, there's no big deal. Okay, I applied for the Planning Commission. People think, and we talked about that yesterday on the radio show, where people are like, well, Donovan, he's anti-WLC. That's not true. My problem with the WLC is it's in the wrong location. I have a background in logistics, and I've been saying that from day one. That's why you never hear Highland Fairview employees saying, oh, Donovan, he's anti-WLC. I'm not. I have a problem as a so-called expert, which I would be considered, where it's located. That's why when I talk about stuff from the aspect of somebody who has a background in logistics. Mm-hmm. And my problem with the WLC is where it's located. Where's the WEC supposed to be located? Right here in good old Edgemont, next to the freeway, or not the freeway, the interstate, the air base, and the rail. Basic logistics. That's why you don't hear them attacking me about being against it. But if that project came across my desk, because I'm against where it's located, that's absolute no. As far as I'm concerned. So yes, would you want me on that board? Of course you wouldn't, because I already have a bias against that project.
So based on the people that are on the commission board presently, do you see anything that's going to possibly, in a biased way, stop this project and the golf course project in District 4 from progressing to the City Council?
That's a good question, because I don't know the other two. I'm not familiar with the other 2 members that I'm sure of. But like I said, with Brian Lowell on there and with my friend Ito's background, he doesn't like other developers getting any kind of praise for doing something positive in his city. But this developer is a little bit different. If you're asking me as a layman, as somebody who has a background in logistics and just common sense, these 2 projects have nothing to do with each other.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, to me, the quorum that they have, it's the people in District 4 have to look at it this way. Right now, you have a dead golf course. It's going to get worse. Something's got to be done with that land. It just can't be sitting there sticking and getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So now you have a developer that's going to come in. Of course, he wants to build a few homes here, or apartments, whatever he's doing there, and improve the landscape. Mm-hmm. So, to me,
where's the negative?
Yeah, where's the negative in that? Because a dead golf course brings your property value down.
Sure. Absolutely.
And then
it's been like that for many, many years.
Right. And, and then, of course, it's bad. And, the teenagers come over there and they're smoking and doing whatever they're doing. I just don't see the upside in leaving it the way it is right now. So the land's being developed. Something's being done. District 4 developers bringing in a Boys and Girls Club, which I've been advocating for that since 1977. Mm-hmm. He wants to bring a teaching guys for the youth. For all we know, we might have another Tiger Woods in this town.
Yeah. Just to kind of elaborate a little bit on that point, the community said that, he put his plans together, mm-hmm. and the community says, no, we need to have a driving range for the people. And so what this developer did was he redid his plans again in order to relocate the Boys and Girls Club in a place that is next to a park. Right. That has all these amenities for the kids. It's got you and I toured it.
Yeah, we toured it.
It had a nice pool table. It was a nice area. It has basketball courts. Right next to it is the park where kids can enjoy themselves. But then right across the way is where he decided to go ahead and put this driving range for the kids to learn how to play. And it's like, because I got to be honest, I don't know if you golf, Donovan.
I'm a good caddy.
I used to actually be a decent golfer. Right. I'm not. I'm a complete duffer today. But you can't take kids and put them out there in a championship golf course and expect them to learn.
Right.
The way they learn is through pitch and putt,
Right.
driving ranges, and this developer is doing that, and he's doing it to help these kids learn how to play the game.
Right.
And again, I just love that idea because I am a firm advocate of Boys and Girls Club as well as
Right,
you are,
right.
because I think it's such a positive thing for this community. So again, I'm just praying, and then I do that quite often, that this plan from this developer will not only get through planning as number one, but then be very swiftly go through the planning commission
and it should
be able
now.
to go through.
Yeah, it should now because we have a quorum, so now it's functioning.
Good.
So hopefully we can get that thing going. As a matter of fact, at the meeting, the planning director was there. So he saw that we do now have a thing. So hopefully we can push that through. I did talk to one of the presidents of the HOAs. Remember, Mark was asking some of those little plot lands that the HOAs maintain.
Sure.
He wants to take those over or whatever he wants to do with that. But I found out that there's 5 different HOAs over there. So I got to figure out which one.
For that area.
Right. So my friend Aja, who's on the HOA board, I'm not sure if it's one, but I'm very sure she knows the other HOAs and who's on those things. So I'm going to get that information for Mark. But I don't see no downside to the project, because if there was a downside, I definitely would say so. Absolutely. And if Highland Fairview and my friend Ito, and I've told Ito this many a times, dude, if you want to get your WLC built and you want people to support it, build us a civic center.
Yeah, build something for the community.
Right, do something for the community, and then everybody would get behind it.
Exactly.
There wouldn't be need for all this divisiveness. And for the money that he spent in trying to get his thing pushed through, he could have built a civic center. Yeah. That Jobs Coalition, he gave them almost $1 million. You could have built a civic center.
That benefits the entire community.
It benefits the entire community. I mean, we're the second biggest city in Riverside County, and we do not have a civic center. Ontario has one. Yucaipa just broke ground for theirs. And, I can go on and on with all the cities. I mean, the city of Colton has a civic center. It's small, but it's a civic center. We don't have anything. So if we wanted plays or, dancing and, just, things that we can do, we have to leave there is nothing in Moreno Valley. I don't care how many jobs you create here. Okay? We've got a lot of warehouses. So let's just hypothetically say there are a lot of good jobs. They're still going to take that money and go somewhere else and spend it, because there's nothing in Moreno Valley that people will come here for. We got rid of the racetrack. That was the dumbest idea ever. Malls are everywhere in Southern California, so our mall is nothing special and has never been anything special. And I know people are listening saying, "Oh, I hate what he's saying," but it's the truth. It's the truth. I've lived here 40 years. Not many people other than Roy Bleckert, Pete Bleckert, and a few other people, Maddie Lopez, Kelly Fitzpatrick. There's only a few of us that are left that are actually from here. And it's the truth. It's just the basic truth. The only thing that we have left is a reserve base. And, that's even teeter-tottering as we're building near it and, and doing all these things. Projects that we have, the Aquabella project, he got an extension on the Aquabella project. We keep giving and giving and giving to this developer, and we're getting nothing in return, and that's the problem. But this golfing developer, he says, you know what? We went to him, hey, what about this Boys and Girls? Hey, we'll do that. We said, hey, there's really no churches out in this area. We're thinking about doing this. He says, hey, I think that's a great idea. Boom, let's try it and do that. We're moving this over here. Everything that we suggest to this guy, he takes it into consideration, goes back to his planners, and he makes adjustments. Can we do that with Ito Benvizi? Absolutely not, because he knows and I know he has no intentions of building that project.
And he has mentioned to you and I, it's not a civic center as a community center, but he's also in phase 2 planning on building a large banquet hall.
Right.
That would also be for weddings, for parties, for quinceaneras, or any of these large events that also could possibly double as a civic center type thing. So that's part of phase B on his project to help the community. And
and since we're talking about that, and like I said, I'm excited when I talk about the project because I've never seen nothing like that in Moreno Valley. And even though I'm in the original and oldest part of the city, it'd be nice to have a representative that actually stays in the district But that project, like I said, if it was really bad, I would say, yeah, that is just a terrible thing. But that is a win-win for the residents over there and the representative over there. Because when we do the debate, we even asked the guy, he said, hey, we're thinking about doing this debate. What do you... Open arms. He said, I think it'd be a great idea. So if you have any questions in regard to... So let me tell you this, make a quick announcement before I forget. April 22nd, 5 to 7 p.m., we're going to have a District 4 debate so that you can see your representative in action and ask them the questions that you might need to ask. And we've got commitments from 3 of them. And those of you guys have seen Facebook. Highland Fairview candidate Ulysses Calaveras has said he's not showing up because he doesn't give a damn about you.
Yeah. Let me add a couple things to that. I want to kind of tell your listeners on the Donovan Sadiq show. The format is going to be like this. The debate starts at 5:00. We have asked this developer to do a 15-20 minute pitch on the project. I think that he has had these community meetings before. And that's where he's made these changes based on the input from the neighborhoods. But I think that'd be really important for everybody in that area to learn about what he's doing now in regard to the new driving range, the
changes and stuff that's coming in. And
so it's exciting. So he's going to take the first 15-20 minutes. And then I've been honored to be able to do the invocation.
Yes, like you did last time, yes.
Like I did at the District 1 debate. And then there'll be the debate that will probably go for about an hour and a half, 2 hours with the 3 candidates. Now, again, I'm not a political guy.
No, you're not.
I'm a religious guy. But I just want to reach out to Mr. Cabrera. I don't know the man, and I don't.
He's not a man. He's a boy.
I'm not involved in the Highland Fairview, anything about Highland Fairview. But if he's listening to your program, which I'm sure
yes, he is. They don't listen, but they listen.
I am asking you, Mr. Cabrera, to please be there. I think it is so important that all 4 candidates are there so they can learn from you what your positions are for that district. He doesn't have any. Right. What your position is in regards to the golf course. It is so important for this. This is a big event, Donovan. There's going to be a lot of people there.
Yes.
You're going to film it, so it's going to go out to pretty much everybody in the District 4 area. It is so important that all 4 candidates are there, they're represented, and they voice their thoughts and their views on the important issues in District 4.
Well, again, it's 3 weeks out. What could you possibly be doing?
That's more important.
That's more important. You have 3 weeks' notice to get ready for this event. Your opponents are going to be there. But see, what it is Idiot Gutierrez has told him, don't worry about it. Him and Baca said, don't worry about it. And I don't know if you watched the video. Baca told me, because I said, hey, you're not in the district. If you need some help, I'm willing to help you. She told me, I don't need your help. What politician is going to tell their constituents, I don't need your help?
Yeah. Well, I've also heard that maybe there might be a slight fear that it'll be skewed because this is produced and it's being basically sponsored by the Inland Empire Informer, which is your show. Mm-hmm. But what people don't realize is that you are the host and you're the one sponsoring it, but you're not the one moderating it.
I'm not moderating.
You're not the one asking the questions.
I'm not involved in the show whatsoever.
We have a moderator who is outstanding, who will be who will basically be organizing and asking the questions. The questions are all going to come from
the audience.
That's actually there, plus questions from the audience that's been sent in. Mm-hmm. So your role in this is background. So there's no threat that's going to be gotcha questions or anything like that. So why would you not?
No, we're not Highland Fairview employees. Mm-hmm. So we don't have doctored questions. I don't know what the questions are going to be. Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is putting on an event. And people say, well, Don, why do you do what you do? And people got to understand this. The problem in Moreno Valley is we're an uneducated electorate. And that's why we're called the Inland Empire Informer. Right. We are here to give you the information. What you do with that information is on you. Because the bottom line, Pastor Don, and you see how I live. I mean, you've been to my house. You see that I walk it as I talk it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't bluff. I'm a bad poker player. If I say what I say, I mean it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for people to be afraid of me, if you don't really know me, And I know you're saying, oh, this little black guy, he's got all this stuff like that. But I'm a very respectful person. You don't see me doing what Luis Palomares, the clown Luis Palomares does. I don't know why anybody would be in fear of me unless, of course, you are doing stuff you're not supposed to do or you don't want to be exposed. Because what's that saying? What's done in the dark always shall come to the light.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that excuse of, oh, Donovan's going to do this, Donovan do that. You were at the last debate. I was not. The only, if anything that I did in that debate was carry a lot of water and snacks and get chairs.
Yeah, and even in that debate was obviously different because you were one of the participants, obviously in the District 1 debate,
right.
And you didn't knock Ms. Baca or Ms. Jemison or anybody, Mr. Baca. You didn't knock anybody there.
I answered the question.
It was one of the most professional and uplifted debates that I've ever been a part of, which I have been a part of a few. And I know that the District 4 debate is going to be the exact same thing. Right. Very professional and very positive, and the people is going to win because they're going to understand where these candidates are from.
Right. I can't vote in that district. I'm not from that district. I have no dog in the fight in that district, and I think it would be an absolute mistake of any of these candidates not to show up.
Well, I guess it tells a message to the district.
It absolutely tells a message to the district. It gives you a big middle finger. That's what it's doing. It's giving them a big middle finger. How do you expect to represent people that you don't even want to meet with? Right. Yeah. I mean, like me or hate me, I get messages telling me off and all this other stuff. But I get a lot of messages that say, hey, young man, I don't know why they call me young man, but keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Because I do it. I'm not the representative in this district, but when there's a light out or there's a problem, people in my neighborhood call me and say, Donovan, I need you to get this trash picked up. I need you to do this, or there's graffiti over here. And I'll go down there and I'll take care of it. I have no problem because I'm invested in my community. Now, Moreno Valley, I'm part of Moreno Valley. What happens in that district, it's up to the people in that district. But again, having nice, pretty signs paid for by a developer who has an agenda. And that keeps coming up. And Ms. Baca mentioned that at the city council meeting. She's familiar with Donovan and his agenda. My only agenda is to rid Moreno Valley of unethical candidates. That's it. And it's been asked to me hundreds of times, Pastor Don, what will it take to get me out of Moreno Valley? Well, number one, cut me a $5 million check. Number two, if you can't do that, run ethical candidates. I am sick and tired I've been here 40 years of seeing, and I've sat back for a long time and let these outsiders, and I'm going to call you outsiders if you've moved here from wherever you're from, and Pete uses that word, Mr. Pete uses that word too. You guys are outsiders. You've moved here, and I'm blessed and I'm thankful that you're here. But if you're from LA and you were raised in LA, what is your mentality? It's LA. Why would you leave the concrete jungle just to make yourself into the concrete jungle? So there's a philosophical difference in how you see the world and how a lot of us that have been here for a long time see the world. The only reason I ended up joining the military, because that's the only thing that was out here, job-wise. I was not going to work at a Circle K because there wasn't that many Circle Ks. So it's all in your perspective. So now we have a woman from East LA representing this district, and that's fine. Very corrupted, and the FPPC violation is coming down. And everybody, please be ready for that. And remember, I do not bluff. And that's my problem with a lot of these people. You guys are coming here, like I said, to get rid of that racetrack. Whose idea was that? Anybody would have told you that was our claim to fame, because when back in the 70s, where do you think all those NASCAR and those race car movies were filmed? Yeah. Right here in Riverside, because we're 60 miles outside of Hollywood. Bob Hope did his very first USO show. Where? March Air Force Base. So if you're drinking, there's some trivia for you. The M on the mountain, it doesn't stand for Moreno Valley. It stands for Moreno Valley High School because that was Senior Hill. The M wasn't as high as it is, but it is, what it is. If you, like I said, if you're not from here, you wouldn't know those things. So I'm saying this is an opportunity for those of us who don't know what's going on with that golf center to see what's going to happen. If that thing gets developed, think of your property values over there. And I think it's very important because that is where our high-end in homes are. You know, we're not talking about the white flight that's happening as people are packing up and leaving. You know, that's a different show. But this developer coming in, doing what he's doing, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
For the businesses over there, more people, more products and things like that. That helps the businesses over there. We get a church implant over there. It teaches the kids, gives them something to do. Summer is coming, but I think this is going to be benefiting next summer. And think of all the single moms that have children that have to work. When I was growing up, my mom was a widowed mother. If it wasn't for the boys club, I don't think my mom would have made it, because back in those days, there was no aftercare. There wasn't a thing. My mom didn't have family members to drop us off to, and we spent a significant amount of time in that boys club, and we learned from older boys that were 18, 19 years old. Yeah, I don't know if it was. Some of them were full time, but most of them were part time. So then you're giving youth experience, and then it's a way for these moms to have childcare at a very low expense. Because when we were going to the boys club, I think it was like $10 a month per child. So my mom's paying $20 a month, and we would walk there. School got at 2 o'clock, 2:30, whatever it was. We would be there from 3 o'clock, sometimes till 7 if my mom had to work overtime, whatever, because the boys club didn't close till like 8:39. So, I mean, bumper pool. We learned how to do pool, arts and crafts. Now these kids are in the computers or whatever they're doing. But I'm talking about back in the old days. We learned auto mechanics. We did our homework there. Everything that we need. By the time my mom picked us up, we were ready for the next day of school. It was already done. So it's a win-win for everybody over there. Yeah. And if you want to know what's going on, it's a great platform to hear the changes that this developer has done and actually see the golf course and the vision that he's going to do.
Yeah, I want to add a couple things to that. Number one, you mentioned that what your goal is for your show, the Inland Empire Informer, is to basically weed out those unethical candidates and unethical
damn
projects.
Right. No, go ahead.
But I gotta be emphasized. If this project was not ethically right or good for the city, good for that community in that district, there's no question in my mind that you would be singing a different song in regards to it. You will be telling us not to support it because of reasons that you have already uncovered. And a lot of people said this, well, yeah, of course, Donovan's going to like that project because him and Pastor Don are in cahoots, so he wants to put his church there, so he's going to love it. Let me just tell you this. That's not true at all, because if we are, first of all, Donovan and I are not in cahoots.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He would be the first one that would be nailing me if he, found any dirt on me, or if I was hiding dark sins somewhere in my life.
I don't like to surround myself with people that don't have an ethical. I don't care if you're, I could keep you at a distance, but you're not going to be around me.
Yeah, so. I just don't want your audience to know that the only reason he's supporting this is because him and I. Donovan and I are working together, with this church plant and, the Pastor Don. This literally has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. It has to do with the fact that this is a great project for that district. It is a great project. If I was having a church there or not, if I wasn't not even planting a church in Moreno Valley, if I was planting a church in Riverside, that project would still be endorsed by Donovan because it's good for the community.
Right. I mean, when you got wind of this, I had heard about it, but I wasn't interested because it wasn't in my district. And you had called me and said, "Hey, Donovan, could you come out and take a look and meet with this guy?" And I said, I didn't want to do it at first. And I said, okay, let me see what's going on. The minute the guy said Boys and Girls Club, I was like, yes. You have candidates that talk about, well, we got to take care of our seniors. No. We have young people running around here with nothing to do, no jobs. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be a senior citizen pretty soon. and 6 years away. No, 8 years away.
I'm sooner than you.
Yeah. 8 years away, whatever. But I'm starting to get my ARP things in the mail.
I have been.
Yeah, I'm like, golly, it's just, that's crazy.
Getting old.
But like I said, I'm an old fool now. So there's a lot of dead young geniuses. So
That's true. That's true.
And I'm just an old fool. But with this project, okay, I'm a retiree, and that's fine, but I'm taken care of. My house is paid for. My car is paid for. I've got a pension coming in. I don't need anybody's help. We've had a senior center here since I was a kid. I think it's time to address the people who need help. And times have changed. You have a lot of single mother homes, and these moms are working. We need to address the youth of this city. And one way of addressing them is not giving them jobs in warehouses, in my opinion. I think our children deserve better.
Yeah. I'm a little I was also a little bit disappointed. I didn't live in Moreno Valley at the time, but when the racetrack did leave the city, that was disappointing because it was basically what Moreno Valley was all about.
Right.
It was known for that. Mm-hmm. Well, this golf course could be the same thing again. The golf course, when I was living back in Moreno Valley, which was about 10, 15 years ago, everybody wanted to live by the Moreno Valley Golf Course. Right. Everybody loved the area. It was like the envy. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the 10 years went by and things changed. And it went completely dead. It has that opportunity to be that again.
Right.
And put Moreno Valley back on the map. Yeah. It's not just a warehouse city like sometimes we like to talk, but it's actually a city that's got some features that a lot of cities surrounding us don't have. Mm-hmm. And that's what this golf course can do.
Right. So again, April 22nd, 5 to 7 p.m., come out, meet these candidates, and I'm going to say again, if you are a candidate that does not show up for the only debate in this special election, what does that tell you, the voter? What does that tell you?
Yeah, I cannot understand any reason not to be there.
Right.
I mean,
I can't understand any reason to vote for somebody who will not show up to answer basic questions from the electorate.
And the questions that's not coming from the host. The questions are coming from the community.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the Donovan Sadiq Show, the Inland Empire Informer, from the Moreno Valley Church Plant. We are just background people there to host the event and allow the community to ask the questions that are that interest them.
I have to say this, Pastor Don. You've been mentoring me a little bit about my temperament and things of that nature, and I appreciate it. I put this event on not to highlight me, not to highlight my show, but it's to give back to the community. Okay. I don't have to do this.
No, you don't.
I don't have to. I could just say to hell with this city, go back to China, travel, and enjoy being retired. But
that's true.
The little things that I can do as a 40-year resident and somebody who's been here a long time, I think I have a responsibility to say, hey, we're not informed. We don't know what's going on. We've had a lot of corruption. We've got a lot of black eyes in this city. A lot of people this city's been stained, unfortunately, by certain developers in certain situations. And here's a little guy like me in Edgemont putting on these debates to make sure that these candidates are properly introduced to the community. What is wrong with that?
Again, nothing. And you're absolutely right. I mean, there's no reason you have to do this. You're doing this in order for the community to be informed. And that's why I truly enjoy the Inland Empire Informer, because that's exactly what you're doing. Is you're informing the public on something that I consider to be a very, very important event in this city, in Moreno Valley.
Right. And when this project does go through, I do pray that we can get this project through and approved. I mean, Rick Sansemeyer says his team doesn't think anything wrong with it. They would like to push it through, but they need that. Now we have a quorum. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're looking at maybe a kickback, a delay, because of the way things have come, because of the timing and what's going on in the city. But I do believe this project will come through. Mm-hmm. And when it comes through, whatever else comes with that, it's a blessing for everybody in the community. Now, this Boys and Girls Club, is it in my district, which I would love for it to be in my district, because we have a lot of young kids here in the District 1 in Edgemont that are just vandalizing everything. No, it's not. But it's a start, and I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. I'm all for it. If I was a kid and I had to walk over there, and that's the only thing we have, that's the only thing we have at this moment. Yeah. And I'm willing to go with that. If this guy's going to come out of his pocket and do that, you got my vote. Yeah.
And he did mention to us that he is interested in, getting some sort of a large van or bus, for these kids to maybe transport them from, the golf course there to the smaller golf course, par 3 golf course out here in Edgemont, to help the kids learn how to, again, you can't learn in a championship golf course. You got to go someplace that's smaller that they can learn from. So hopefully there will be a lot of kids that would be able to utilize that benefit.
Right, but I'm all behind this project, and it's not because of what I just don't sit there and listen to a presentation and say, "Wow, great." I look at the presentation and I go, okay, that's interesting. Then I do my own homework.
Yeah. I don't know how much more time we have left here, Donovan.
Got 10 minutes.
Huh?
10 minutes.
Well, I want to take this last 10 minutes since I'm the one getting asked the questions, which I kind of enjoy. I actually like this. I'm interested in knowing, and if you don't mind expounding, your thoughts of the future of the Inland Empire Informer. I know you have a lot of plans. I know you have a lot of thoughts. I know you mentioned something to me privately about expanding into maybe Instagram and other avenues.
Sure.
You've also talked about maybe adding different types of programs within your... Would you be able to just give us a very short synopsis of what your thoughts are, your plans going forward for the Inland Empire Informer?
I'm going forward.
Can you give us a little more detail?
Detail. Okay. A little bit about what we're doing is... you got to take advantage of technology. People do not meet like when we were kids and, you're going to meet at the barber shop or you're going to do that. Technology is the future. The way people are meeting now is on the internet. Everybody has smartphones now. It isn't the flip phones and all the other stuff like we used to have. So everybody has a smartphone. And that's one thing that I like and bad developers hate because of the Inland Empire Informer, News from Edgemont, that predated all these things. And we started getting the word out. Now people, even if you're in Long Beach and you're at that great paying job that's paying $45 an hour, union, whatever you're doing, and you miss a debate coming up, like the debate that's coming up. If you don't make the debate, we're going to videotape it for you. So, again, how could that be bad for the community? It isn't. Mm-hmm. So while you're laying in bed, even though you missed the debate, you can go punch up the video, watch it, as if you didn't miss anything at all, and form your own opinion. We're not here to give you your opinion, but we're looking at buying some apps, which is what we're going to be doing. Pastor Don, you're going to have an app as well. Mm-hmm. Instagram, which is another large platform. We just want to spread the word and get it out there. We're going to be on Instagram. We're going to try to hit everything that we possibly can. And we're going to be bringing on board a couple of interns and people to help us do that because you and I are just too old to do that on a daily basis. We have things to do.
That's very true.
Yeah. So we're going to be bringing on some young people and we're going to be paying them to do our social media and get some reporters out there as we expand into the Inland Empire. Unfortunately, because we're in Moreno Valley and Moreno Valley is a cesspool of corruption. This is where I live. That's my primary concern, but social media is the future, and that's where we want to branch it out. But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of these things, we're going to utilize everything that we can to inform everybody out there. But these apps, the good thing about the app is instead of searching for what we're saying, by purchasing an app, you can, and we're not going to be, expensive. I mean, it's $1. I mean, come on, $1, $2, whatever it is. I haven't set it up yet, but we're going to look into it. But that way you can just go right into it and you can see what we're saying, listen to what we're saying, video, whatever the platform is, and you don't have to search for it. So that way, when you want to know what's going on in the Inland Empire, you're going to get that information.
Yeah. I got to be honest, I'm extremely excited. I also, if there is some young talent out there that is very expert in the social media, the Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube, and anything else out there that can expand what we're trying to accomplish. You need to let Donovan know
Absolutely.
that you're out there. And he says, well, it's a paid position. Of course, it's not going to be paid a whole lot because it's also a learning process also for the individual. But
I do believe in paying you for your talent.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. Also, I also know that you're also expanding. Not only being a political show, you've already included it as a Christian religious show with the Pastor Don Weekly,
right, which is totally separate. Yes. I want to give that thing because what it is when people come to me and they say, "Well, I want to do this, I want to do that." We're a conglomerate of different applications. Where we're going to expand into sports.
That's what I want you to get into.
Yeah, we're going to expand into sports. We're going to have a sports section. So if you're out there and you're listening and you think that you're really good in sports and you know a lot about sports, we would love to hear from you to come on the show and report some of the sports news. And we're going to hit everything that we can hit because information is power.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. But I want to be specifically clear. Pastor Don, we love you having as a guest. We love you having on the show. You're a good friend. But Pastor Don's show is totally separate from my show, the news from Edgemont, whatever. He's a Christian man. He's out there to get Christian souls. So I want everybody to be specifically clear about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I agree. We are separate. We do work together, but we are separate. But I'm excited because the branching out, including the political side, the religious side, potentially the sports side, and then the millennial side.
The millennial side, yes.
Young people. Fashion, millennials, things that the young folks are interested in. I know you have a facet of that you want to add to the to this. So this is really expanding, and as you get involved with Instagram and other social outlets, this thing is getting to be something that's going to be extremely exciting. So what I'm asking your audience is to spread the word.
Spread the word.
Inland Empire Informer is going to be the hub for information, not only politically, but in all aspects
social
of life.
Right.
And I tell you, it's got to be your number one source for information in regards to going forward with social media.
Right. And we're getting sponsors, and with those sponsors comes pay.
Oh,
I'm not taking any kind of money. Pastor Don, you're not taking any money personally.
I will. Yes, I have not. Absolutely
personally. But like I said, our on-air talent, I think that you need to be paid for your talent. So for these young people that are sitting around that want to be a media sensation, whatever, you're more than welcome to come out and you say, hey, I want to talk about this. And and that if that's your niche and that's what your expertise is, we would love to have you on the show, and we're going to pay for talent.
Yeah.
With sponsorship comes pay.
Sure.
So please spread the word on that. But in regards, like I said, I like doing this show because it gets me to talk about what I want to talk about in regards to outside of the box of the hot seat and all this other stuff. But it does take up a lot of time. I have nothing but time. But again, I love doing it. April 22nd, I think that's going to be a very, very big event because that is going to be pivotal to what's going to happen in the city. And this is what you got to understand. Highland Fairview is putting out their people, employees in specific areas so that a $800 million infrastructure bond will be passed. This man does not have the money. And any good businessman is not going to pay when he can get the taxpayers to pay for it. So if you thought the $400 million school bond upped your taxes, wait till he gets his employees in positions to where they can vote for a bond and you have no say-so whatsoever. So that's how I'm going to end that. And I'm going to elaborate that definitely in the next hour when we get to it. A lot of stuff is going on, and the sky is beautiful. Animal shelter. I really got to mention that. They are still killing those animals at a high clip. Belle knocks me all the time about her friends in the animal shelter, and I think it's, it just doesn't go away. And I heard a story from a person who tried to adopt an animal, and they got such a hard time at the animal shelter that they went to Riverside and adopted 2 dogs over there. And to me, that's just unacceptable. I mean, get these animals adopted, but there's a financial incentive to killing those animals over there, and somebody has to get to the bottom of it. But we're going to talk about a little bit about that in the second hour. I just want you guys to know that it's going to be a great day. Whatever you guys do, just do the best of it to your best of your ability. And we're going to check out a little bit more in the second hour. This has been the Donovan Sadiq Show with my special guest, Pastor Don. And we got a lot to talk about.
Somebody had it in for me, and so now our love, it could never be. It's a hell of a lesson to learn, to trust somebody and then get burned. But I guess that is the price we pay, because we all go through it every day.
That was good. Yeah, we're still playing the music, so let the music go out. So,
it's a game, ain't got no
the
score.
next hour, I
And
need to
if you
talk
don't
about
play, you're a loser for sure.
no,
I got to bring the vocal.
I think it's not.